How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today I'm pretty excited because I'm going to be talking about another shark movie. For those of you guys who know the channel, during the summer I do my Sharks of Summer series, where every week I take a look at a shark movie, but some shark movies don't fit in with the summer. Some shark movies are snow movies. So I'm sliding this in here to my snow series that I've been doing lately, and I guess we can think of this as the Sharks of Summer Winter Special or something. But anyway, we are going to be talking about Avalanche Sharks. This is from 2014, directed by Scott Wheeler, and stars Alexander Mendeluk, Kate Nauta, and Benjamin Easterday. And overall, the movie does a few interesting and different things, and I find a lot of these shark movies, that are the grade up from bottom, basically, if you're unfamiliar with shark movies, there's a ton of micro budget shark movies that don't really do much because they don't have any money, and then you get a few grades up where they're still pretty low budget, but they can experiment with some stuff. And shark movies in this grade usually try to throw in something, give their shark a power, or put it in a different location, give a little bit of a twist. In this movie, it does that. It switches the location to a mountaintop, but also these sharks are spirits, so they can swim through the snow, they have a cool icy design, they can be solid or travel through things. The sharks look cool, and it's a cool different set. Sadly though, this falls pretty quickly back into bad shark movie cliches, and it's not the worst shark movie I've ever seen by far, but there is a ton of, just really loose plot and bad wooden acting, and it's not great, but at least it's something different, and the shark's kinda cool. So there is one thing worth noting before we get too much farther. There actually is two different cuts of this movie. I first saw this on Amazon Prime, and that cut I believe was like 82 minutes long, but then I looked at this DVD, 92. So yeah, the one on Amazon Prime, which I guess would probably be the one that you find streaming, if you find it streaming somewhere, is actually the shorter cut. So I did put in the DVD and try to find the differences, and they're actually relatively easy to see and kind of weird what they chose to cut out. Three main things. One, the longer cut opens with kind of a sizzle reel, a bunch of stuff from throughout the movie in order to get you excited for it. And yeah, a few of the shots are kind of big spoilers, so it does its job getting you excited, but spoils some of the movie. The other thing is a framing mechanism. One of the characters is in a hospital, and he has a fantasy about this nurse coming in, and he's telling the nurse his story. And the framing mechanism does add a bit of meta humor, and it does create more of a sense of cohesion in an otherwise kind of messy movie. But that being said, it doesn't add too terribly much. The third thing that's in the longer cut, though, is there's a sort of UFO explanation for the sharks, which does contrast with the Native American explanation, which the nurse does point out, but you do get these CGI scenes of like a bunch of shark pods going through space, and then there's another scene at the end, and they're fun. Again, contrast part of the movie and also don't really add much to it, but to see a bunch of shark pods floating through space, yeah, that's pretty fun. So it's not crucial stuff that they cut out, but you know me, I always vote for the longer version. Anyway, without further ado, in order to analyze this, let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the plot, but I won't be doing any major spoilers, so let's talk a little bit about the plot. We open up with an avalanche and some prologue kids. The prologue kids go where they're not supposed to. There's a controlled avalanche in order to get some snow off the mountain before it became a problem. And the avalanche knocks down some totems, releasing the sharks, which kill the prologue kids. Then we jump to this car. Well, we get to see them load in first. It's this guy who's a weirdo, and he's really particular, and he's got 2 other women he's bringing to the ski resort, and I really have no idea who these people are or what their importance is. They get a really early scene, like right after the prologue, and the weird guy is actually the narrator in the extended cut. But yeah, they really aren't important characters at all, but you think they would be because they got this super early scene. I think one of them is like one of the girls in a bikini later on. I don't know. But anyway, they drive to the ski resort, and then we get our first real main character. It's this guy, he's in the army, and you know he's in the army because his girlfriend reinforces that through dialogue several times. And one of the prologue kids, I think, is his brother who went missing, and they're going to go and look for him. Then we get the sheriff, who is basically Sheriff Brody, Chief Brody. Yeah, it's the same guy. Well, not the same actor, but the same stereotype. And this time around, he has his girlfriend, and we'll get to the Jaws stuff in just a second. Sharks are appearing, ghost sharks, spiritual sharks, and they're picking people off kind of randomly. And the thing with the sharks is they have this origin story where they were sort of like Native Americans, like a shaman summoned them when their land was taken away or something like that. Like I said, the story does kind of change a little, especially when they introduce the outer space possibility, but they do tell us a story at least 3 times on a ski lift, in the car going there, and then, like, you know, one of the girls saw the sharks the last time they came. So yeah, we do get this origin over and over, but slowly people start to notice their family and friends are missing, and for a long time, most of the characters in this movie are, someone's missing, can you help me? No, I don't want to help you. And that's who your 2 character groups are for most of this. But anyway, eventually enough characters get picked off, the remaining characters become mains, and they have a relatively disappointing final battle. Yeah, not gonna lie, you know, it's a little bit of a set piece, but I won't spoil, I won't say how, but the person that winds up defeating the shark, literally, I don't think they know what they're doing, and the shark's demise is pretty much happenstantial. It's a weird ending with an okay final battle, but yeah, let's get into the elements of this movie. The characters, that's where you can first really see that things are kind of going wrong. Yeah, there's a ton of wooden acting and a ton of bad line delivery in this movie, but also way too many characters, and sometimes we'll spend a lot of time with a character, and you think, okay, this is one of the mains, and then they get a quick death shortly after, and it really is kind of hard to distinguish who's a main character and who's just cannon fodder. They all kind of have about the same level of importance, and you have to really wait to see who winds up getting the more screen time. Although that being said, towards the end of the movie, some main characters do get pretty disappointing deaths. And yeah, there's so many times in this movie I went in and I was like, do I know this person? Which isn't really a good sign. You should be able to tell if that's a main character or a piece of cannon fodder, but you're like, who is this person? Do I know them? Do they have a plot? And like I said, most of the characters are either looking for someone or refusing to believe in the sharks. And there's this whole thing in the movie where if a good guy needs to believe in the sharks, he'll see it right away. And if a bad guy needs to not believe in the sharks will totally avoid him. So, yeah, so much for trying to convince someone, trying to come up with proof. The sharks, aka the writer, just kind of picks who believes and who doesn't by just showing it to them. Yeah, that's not great. And also, the humor tied to these characters isn't great as well. There's weird humor, like, I wrote down a few of them. One girl falls asleep in the car and misses a rest stop, and the guy goes, "You missed the rest stop, I'm not gonna pull over." And she says something along the lines of, "Well, I'll pee in the car then." And he says, "Well, you don't know me, what if I like that?" Weird humor that doesn't quite work. Or like one guy is talking to an Asian woman, and she can't understand him, and she says, "I know English," to what she responds, "So do I." Not a great joke there, and then plus they explain the joke after it happens, in case you don't get it, which is not a great sign that you have faith in your comedy if you feel the need to explain it. So that's not great. And also, yeah, with the plot, it just being so loose and rambly, and it's basically just randos get picked off till the people that are left just happen to be mains, and then they're in the final battle, and there's no real sense of character movement or struggle or focus of any kind. I mean, closest thing we have to the plot is when they decide to just rip off Jaws and introduce that this mountain town has, you guessed it, an evil mayor who, you know, the town needs these dollars. You know, it's not really summer dollars, it's spring break or something, I don't know. But the mayor from Jaws shows up and he has to struggle against him, and that really is the closest thing to any sort of plot structure. But the sharks. The sharks have a cool design. They're blue and ghostly, and when you see the shark, it looks kind of ice-like. It's pretty cool. Plus, with them looking otherworldly, that can excuse a bit of the CGI. A bit, but not all. Yeah, they're not perfect. It really is just little fins going through the snow. But also, a little bit inconsistent on their powers. They appear to be able to go through things like the snow, yet sometimes when they pop out of the snow, they'll break it like a crack in the ice. But there's one scene where they go through a hot tub so they can pass through solid objects, but then there's another scene later where they're banging on the walls of a building trying to get in, and I'm like, wait, couldn't they go through solid objects? Why is that not a thing anymore? I don't know. And I should mention, also with the edits, not super great. There's editing things like they're at a party and the music is like a 10-second loop of the same song played over and over and over again, and I'm pretty sure it's some royalty-free thing because I'm pretty sure I heard it in YouTube videos before. Also, we get odd transitions between scenes where they just pan the camera really fast over random skiing stuff, and then we're in a new scene, and I'm like, what is that? Why is it fast-forwarded? There's also a good example of the bad editing is the sled dog scene. The guy it's this guy who's basically the crazy guy on a bike from Friday the 13th, and he's got his sled dogs, and all of a sudden sharks appear behind him, his dog freezes, and there's blood in front of him, which might indicate that one of the dogs is dead, but it never shows it. I'm thinking they missed a special effects shot or something. But the sharks come, and he pulls out his gun and then falls over. You think he's dead, but then he's just there later. And then when he's talking, he says the sharks got all my dogs, even though at the end of the previous scene, they ran away, implying that they would be safe. But he goes on and on about how the sharks kill his dogs, and then after he goes away from that scene, he finds the dogs' bodies. And I'm like, that is in the wrong order. That is messed up and confusing. That was not how those shots were supposed to be. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that. And also, I should mention, this is another case of PG-13 dirty movie. Yeah, this whole thing, all the characters talk about sex and relationships all the time, yet before anything ever gets dirty, you know a shark is gonna pick them off to appease the ratings board. And they go on and on about how it's a bikini ski day, which, let me tell you, bikini ski day just means we have 3 girls hanging out in a hot tub. They don't ever actually ski. I don't think that would be practical. I think you'd get really cold if you had that. But yeah, bikini ski day, they'll talk about it all the time. A few scenes with 3 girls in a hot tub. That's about all you get. But yeah, these movies that are constantly obsessed with sex, but it has no payoff for how much the movie invests into that plot. But anyway, overall, not the best shark movie. It is on that level, and I see so many shark movies, and I do start to see the levels, you know? Low micro-budget films, next to nothing happens, then you get a little bit higher budget, you can start to do things, then you try to stand out, and that's where this movie is. You try to stand out, you try to be a little better, you try to do something different. So, yeah, it's micro-budget, it's not super successful, but they're at the point in the shark ladder where they are trying. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should make a shark ladder video explaining the different level of shark movies. I don't know, that could be interesting. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my shark movies playlist. If you click there, you can find me talking about a whole bunch of other shark movies. I've covered a ton. I've done 2 Sharks of Summer series already, so there's a bunch there. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.